Hello, fellow citizens of the internet. I am here with my first video about the First Descendant and maybe my last one as well. We'll see. I have played for about 3 weeks now, trying to catch up. Last season, I didn't play much. I only played for a couple of days. I believe I was playing Path of Exile 2 back then. As you can see, I haven't even maxed out my Hypernova, which was the Battle Pass weapon last season. But, nostalgia got to me and I decided to come back to the game and see how the game is doing nowadays. I played this game a lot in the past. I have almost 1,600 hours in the game, which is crazy. I have most of the Descendants with a lot of investment. I have, most of the weapons with good rolls, with pretty good builds and all that. So this game has provided me with a lot of entertainment. I would be a hypocrite if I said otherwise. I used to love this game. So how's the game doing nowadays? I have a list here with positives and a list with negatives, and I'm gonna start with the positives. Number 1, the game is free to play, so literally there is nothing stopping you from playing the game and seeing for yourself if you like it or not. Number 2, there is a lot of variety in the game, and by that I mean different missions, different descendants with different playstyles. Like for example, you will have a different experience playing someone like Jaber, which plays off his turrets, and playing someone like Serena, for example, which flies around and is very reliant on her weapons. You have also different pets and quite a bit of content to go through. Number 3, pretty good graphics. The characters look good, especially if you like ass and titties, and decent gameplay. Number 4, you can earn caliber, which is the premium currency in the game, through the trading system. Basically, you come here, and if you have, for example, a very good trigger module that you have no need for, you can sell it to someone else and they pay caliber for it, which is great. Number 5, if you have one of those babies, you can transfer all the progress, and by progress I mean all the catalysts and energy activator that you used on a normal descendant to a ultimate descendant, like for example from normal bunny to ultimate bunny. Number 6, yet another great feature. If you are missing one of the weapons from previous battle passes, you can come to Albion and talk to this guy right here. His name is I believe Deslin, and you can buy those weapons from him, which is great. Number 7, every weekend you can come to this guy right here. His name is ETA0, and you can buy from him stuff like inventory slots, storage slots, and all that good stuff that usually costs premium currency. So that's great. And lastly, number 8, the menu is clear and fairly easy to understand. You've got your dailies here, you've got your weeklies here. If you go to your library, you can see what you are missing and how to get it, etc, etc. And now that we've talked about the positives, you know what they say, no marriage is perfect. So there are some negatives as well. Number 1, my game crashed a decent amount of times. I believe I crashed 6 times when I was doing the Dia questline, while I was fighting the last boss. I crashed twice during the Void Vessel when I was using Dia. I crashed a few times when I was dismantling trigger modules for some reason, and for some reason it only happened when I was dismantling 10 or more. And I crashed once when I was buying caliber, which was extremely weird as well. But yeah, I have to be fair as well and say that my PC is 4 years old at this point, so it's not the most advanced PC out there. But I don't think that it was my PC's fault, just because most of those crashes happened 2 and 3 weeks ago, and this last week has been much better, so I think it was the game's fault. But yeah, that's about it. Number 2, the game doesn't really respect your time, and this is not something that only happens in the First Descendant. It isn't unique to the First Descendant. It's something that happens often in live service games. And I have several examples here, like for example the farm for Shadow and Deus. That farm was terrible, like terrible, double terrible. It took me around, I believe, 15 hours, if not even more, to farm for both of them combined, and 15 hours is pretty much, right? 15 hours could be half a single player game. And I understand this is a looter shooter. They can't and they shouldn't give you something for free. They shouldn't make it too easy. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for a better, middle ground between very easy and very tedious. Another example is luck. Luck is then again something that happens in many other games. Sometimes you can get so unlucky that it makes you want to quit the game. And I have an example here. Back in the day when I was last time I played, basically, I believe I used between 150 and 200 green cores on my restored relic, trying to get a golden fire rate. And I wasn't even asking for 20. I was gonna be happy with 19, but I didn't even get that. And this was back in the day when Purge was much harder. So this took me many hours to farm, right? And at the end of the day, I had nothing to show for it. Zero progress. So it felt pretty bad. Nowadays, Purge is much easier, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem anymore. And another example is the long research time. Like this shit used to take 30 hours. 30. I cannot even count to 30. That's how long it is. No, I can. Anyways, 30 hours to research, which is a lot, right? And hey, I understand it. This is a free-to-play game. They have to get the money somehow, right? Because this to me screams that if you don't want to wait, you have to pay with your wallet. But yeah, I understand it, but that doesn't mean that I like it. Number 3, there are still a few bugs in the game. And just to give you an example, many times I used an ability in order to dismount the bike just because it is easier to press the ability button than to find B on the keyboard. And for some reason, whenever I did that on Viesa in a dungeon, I got this weird bug that made me unable to use weapons or abilities for the rest of the dungeon. So the only option that I had was to restart the dungeon, and that feels really bad. Number 4, big part of the content is very easy. Let's say, for example, Wall Crusher was supposed to be this big and scary and hard colossus that takes 8 people to put down. And in reality, it's just a big and slow target dummy or punching bag, whatever you want to call it, that gets destroyed in 20 seconds. And there is usually not many mechanics in the game. Difficulty just seems to translate to more HP or sometimes, right, a little bit more damage as well. And depending on where you are in life or how much time you've got on your hands, I would understand if you classify that as a positive. Let's say, for example, you come from work and you work hard every day, and after 10 hours of work you just want to open a cold beer and play something that's not very challenging. I would totally understand that you like that aspect of the game, but then again, I don't. Number 5, I still have no idea what the story is about in this game. The voice lines are pretty boring and generic in my opinion. Like every single part of the story, there seems to be someone holding another person, which is usually on the floor and dying. And this person is like, the one holding is usually like, damn you, Karel, how dare you do this? I will come back and avenge my dying friend here. I will never forgive you, Karel. Mark my words. I will come back, Karel. Like, who the fuck talks like that in real life anyways? Number 6 and last, a bunch of smaller problems put together. And I have an entire list here. One of them would be that the patches are pretty slow in my opinion. Now, admittedly, I have no idea how big the team behind the First Descendant is. It might as well be just like 2 guys working overtime. I have no clue. But the patches are pretty slow in my opinion, right? The enhanced module menu still has no search option. FOMO is another problem. The fact that we still use the same modules that we've been using since beta is another problem. Skill extension and skill expansion and all that, right? I wish they took more risks when it comes to the modules. Like, they could have gotten inspired by Warframe and do something similar to the set modules that Warframe has. And let's say, for example, a set called PP. Why not? and you have PP extension and PP expansion and PP concentration and PP toxin. And if you use all 4 of the PP modules, you would get a set bonus, and that bonus could be something wacky and fun, and I would love it. I will probably use it as well. Another example is this module right here, Shock Punch. Whenever I've seen this module back in beta, I always imagined that at some point we will get more modules that affect our sub attack. I like, could be something like if you have all 3 of your weapon slots empty, you get 5000% increased damage for your sub attack. And yeah, I always visioned this Saitama build. Like, I was extremely excited for it. A build that only uses, the sub attack, the punch basically. And you could go to a weaker Colossus and one punch it, and that would be so fun. I wish they did that, but they didn't. Another problem is that even now, after a year, you still have descendants for whom you cannot see the real stats. Like, for example, in S here, if you go to the info, it says that my critical hit rate is at 50%. And if I go to a map, in reality, it is at 100%, right? Another problem is the poor balance. Now, admittedly, the balance is much better nowadays, but for the longest time, you had descendants like Serena, who was, miles above the other descendants. And even nowadays, there is Dia, who can do basically everything in the game. And then you have descendants like Jabber, for example. And lastly, this could fall under balance as well. Luna is still terrible. I've been trying to play Luna for a while now, and I have a few things written down. Like, for example, if you get frozen, you are taken out of your unique weapon. If you get into a scene cut, basically a movie, you are taken out of your unique weapon. And if you are using your unique weapon, you cannot pick quest items with Luna. So yeah, I understand that Luna is pretty powerful in group play, but very clunky in my opinion. Very clunky. Anyways, that's it for the video. I am getting hungry now, so I'm gonna have dinner. If I sounded very negative, I didn't mean to. I used to love this game, like I said at the start of the video. And even now, playing for those past 3 weeks, I found moments in which I enjoyed the game. But now I ran out of things to do again, so I'm gonna play something else. And yeah, don't let me ruin your fun if you still love the game. I'm just a guy that likes to yap about things. So I invite you to play the game and see for yourself if you like it or not. Critical thinking, baby. But yeah, that's it. See you next time. Kisses. Mwah.